Hello everyone and welcome to another Halloween Season review. Today I'm reviewing the Star Trek Voyager Fluxx, one of the latest in the Fluxx series. And so if you're already familiar with Fluxx, it is very, similar type things. I'm going to show you some of the new kind of elements or the elements that kind of stood out to me in this specific version of Fluxx. If you're not familiar with Fluxx, very, very simple gameplay where you're drawing a card and playing a card. And then as the game progresses, you might have new rules come out that make you draw more cards or play more cards, introduce hand limits, a lot of different things. But the basic goal of the game is to create a goal. There's usually one goal out at a time unless a new rule is introduced, which makes it more than one. But if you play a goal card, it replaces the previous goal card, and you're just trying to match whatever the current goal card is. And usually you do that by having certain cards in front of you with these different keepers. There are creeper cards in the game as well, which usually introduce an aspect of if you have one of these creepers, you draw it on your turn, you have to immediately play it, and you can no longer win as long as you have this creeper in play in front of you, unless in this specific version, some of these creepers actually you need to have them in order to win the game, meet the goal. And so if that's the case, of course, then you have those and you're able to win the game with that specific goal. So very, very simple concept there. If you're familiar with Star Trek Voyager, you're going to see some familiar faces here, some familiar items and names. We have, the USS Voyager there with, of course, Catherine Janeway. It's kind of fun. There's a Janeway from the future as well in this deck. But another element of this one here is a lot of these keeper cards you'll notice are not characters, but equipment or, ships and different things like that. And so some of these, including our holographic doctor here, have this symbol here, which is that piece of equipment. And there's a specific creeper in this deck called Malfunction. And when you draw that, you have to play it immediately, and you attach it to one of your equipment keepers. So you have to basically attach it to one of these, and our holographic doctor is now malfunctioning. And so basically we can't use any special abilities of those, and they stay together. Now, so some of these have some very helpful, these equipment cards have some very helpful abilities. And so that's why it can be unfortunate when that creeper comes up, that malfunction, because some of these, the holo deck, which in our last game that we played, my wife won with, was during your turn, you can win with a keeper another player has on the table, as if it were in front of you. So this basically allows you to mimic one of the other keepers. Even if you don't have it in front of you, another player has it in front of them, you're able to utilize that to meet the goal and can win the game that way. There's phaser. During your turn, you may discard any one creeper in play. So that's very, very nice. Get rid of those creepers. Transporter, during your turn, you may put any one keeper on the table into your hand. Very powerful with that. And there was, so this action card. So there's various action cards in here too that do all sorts of crazy cool things. This one is Beam Us Up action. And it says all crew member keepers. And the crew members have that little, the Star Trek symbol there in the corner, saying that they're a crew member. So all crew member keepers in play are returned to the hands of their owners, unless someone has the transporter in play, in which case that player takes all crew members in play and adds them to their hand. Pretty powerful, pretty cool. So you got the transporter. We have this mobile emitter, counts as the holographic doctor if that card is not already in play. So if this isn't out on the board yet, this can actually count as the holographic doctor as well. And then there was a goal card I think I had out. Yeah, this one. So this is the actual goal card, however, of having the holographic doctor and the mobile emitter. So if you had these two cards in front of you and are able to have this be the goal card, then you are going to win the game. Let's see, some other interesting things. We have 7 of 9 here, counts as the Borg. So kind of interesting, can play as 2 different elements there. And like I said, in this version, some gold cards, actually you would want some of these creepers. So even the Borg fear them, species 8472. So we have all of those. This version has some surprise cards. Basically what these are they allow you to play these out of turn. On other people's turn, you can discard it to cancel certain new cards that they're trying to play. Or on your turn, there's a different type of action that would be associated with those as well. And that is pretty much Star Trek Voyager Fluxx. Some really neat cards in here, and works really well. There's some other cards, and obviously I don't want to make a video showing you every single card in the deck and talking about them, but let's talk about just a couple of the specific kind of thematic new rules in this one. So there's a wormhole action. As a free action, once during your turn, you may take the top card from the draw pile and play it immediately. Repeat if you draw a creeper. This is a free action, does not count as your draw or play. So that's nice. Then the warp core. This is really nice. Once during your turn, you may discard as many cards from your hand as you choose and draw back that many. I think that's a real big element of Fluxx, I think, is just trying to get through the deck, right? You're trying to get the certain cards that go with the other cards that you already have in play. And so anything that kind of cycles through the deck, makes you draw more cards and everything, I think is really good for Fluxx, because it makes the game go a little bit quicker with having more cards in play, more card options. The times where Fluxx seems to draw out or different things like that, it's a lack of cards, right? I'm drawing, 1 or 2 cards at a time, and I'm just not getting what I want or what I need. And so the action cards and the new rules that allow you to go through a lot of cards at once, I think are very helpful. So I've enjoyed that in this version as well. But that is Star Trek Voyager Fluxx, another great addition to the Fluxx line of games, and we'll hopefully show you the next version of Fluxx as that comes out as well. It looks like there's a fantasy themed Fluxx coming out. So that is Star Trek Voyager Fluxx from Looney Labs Games, and a great addition there, and that is how Lou sees it.